farmer. In addition, the farmers want more representation in the proposed coffee board to allow them safeguard their interests. Speaking on Monday to the Peter Gikonyo, the chairman of the association, said while the farmers are not opposed to the two bill, they want them harmonized to eliminate gaps and confusion in the coffee subsector. The National Assembly Coffee Bill of 2021 was sponsored by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, while the Senate version was sponsored by the Senate Committee on Agriculture Chairman Senator Njeru Ndwiga.
As far as the two bills are concerned, we are not quarreling either of the two bills. All what we are saying, there are issues that are within in the two bills that we have been able to submit our memorandum to both houses. There are issues that can help farmers that are in the two bills, but we need some harmonization. Like now we are asking, who will bear the cost of the DSS, if there is any? Who is this DSS? Should there be an issue? What is the recourse? So all these things needed to be addressed so that then we are very sure that when we start trading, the money will move from the buyer to the seller, and all the stakeholders who have participated and provided services, they will be able to get their monies in good time. And we are saying, other than just presenting the same document, we are more than willing and ready to have a sitting or to have a session with the both houses, explain ourselves to them, to be able to help them to understand. Probably maybe what has been written does not share a universal understanding, but probably when we are able to have a discussion, we will be able to enlighten them and bring them to the same understanding with the farmers. The other issue, we are not saying that we are not happy with the capital market exchange regulating coffee. All what we are saying, with the experience that we had with them the last year, that is 2020, they seem not to have been prepared, not to even understand the coffee business, and comparing the coffee business with the shares that are normally traded. So we are saying, the expert in coffee should be left to handle the matters of coffee, and the person who are expert in that is a coffee board, the one that is now to be introduced.
Now, Colorworks Limited, a manufacturing firm owned by billionaire Manu Chandaria, has been put under receivership by NCBA Group over an unpayment of 4.3 billion shillings debt. The move comes after some of Kenya's leading banks and financial institutions published notices for the auction of Colorworks assets, including residential and commercial complexes, which had been used to guarantee the loans. Now, NCBA has appointed Pongangi Pali Rao as the receiver manager as it seeks to recover its money. The aluminium cookware and roofing sheets manufacturing company that is owned by the Comfort Group, of which Chandaria is the chairman and controlling shareholder, has been struggling financially as a result of weak sales and stiff competition from other manufacturers. Now, moving on, 3 local startups have each received 1.25 million shillings funding from an innovation hub steered by the Insurance Regulatory Authority in collaboration with Prudential Life Assurance Kenya Limited and other partners to promote insurance inclusivity. Now, the 3 startups were recognized for their ability to impact increased access to insurance in underserved markets through the use of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain and telematics. Now, the IRA's Innovation Hub, in partnership with Prudential UK Kenya Tech Hub, Telestic and UK Department for International Trade, launched the Bima Lab Accelerator program to help innovators refine their value proposition, determine commercial viability and provide opportunities to scale their solutions through partnerships and participation in the IRA sandbox. Prudential Life Assurance Kenya CEO Gwen Kinisu said the company is keen on championing financial inclusion in the insurance sector, hence its support for the Accelerator program. On his part, IRA Chief Executive Officer Godfrey Kiptum, he said that the Bima Lab Accelerator program will go a long way to promote financial inclusion given the low uptake of insurance products in Kenya. Now, currently at 2.34% of the population, according to the 2019 annual report by the regulator.
The 3 participants who we we have awarded today, recognized, and given them the drive to proceed with this the launch of their products, will bring in many more people to the sector. Of course, what we know is that many people have not thought in the past that they were insurable, but with these products that reach into many more people, it will be affordable and can bring in many more people. Of course, the average income for this country is about $2,000 per annum, but that doesn't mean that everybody is on that scale. That's an average scale. Many people would be living below $2-3 per day. And we expect that those people now will have products that they can be able to afford.
Prudential got involved with the Bima Labs Accelerator program because we are cognizant of the fact that we are living in different times. The customer has changed, and therefore they need to partner with insurtechs and innovators who can come up with nimble and digitized value propositions, which we can then assist with, both from our digital expertise and also our technical know-how.
Now, the Kenya Film Classification Board CEO Ezekiel Mutua is concerned that improved use of digital technologies has increased risk of copyright infringements through the internet. Mutua notes that there has been an upsurge in online infringement of copyrighted works, which includes visual works like photos and paintings, audios such as speeches, music and poems, and audiovisual. Speaking during the commissioning of the Njoki Karuoya Creative and Media Center in Gilgil, Nakuru County, Mutua noted that there were some websites that allow users to download music or other creative content at a fee without the authority or a license from the original owners of the work. Now, the Creative and Media Center is a brainchild of career journalist Njoki Karuoya.
Through our own expression, we can depict the best values that we have in our culture and our humanity. The great support they are giving to children, talented children from disadvantaged families, humble backgrounds, but kids who are talented. 7,500, so 75,000 will be sponsorship for women, for 10. So I'm going to offer to sponsor 10 kids through this center, and we have committed as Kenya Film Classification Board to work with this center to see how we can also support them in bringing visibility using social media and digital platforms and expose these kids and these great creatives to the world. Art does not have to be dirty to sell.
Now, mass production of a Laikipia-made vehicle, BJ50, has entered a critical phase with the planned registration and issuance of number plates of the first 6 units this week. The 6 units of the four-wheeler tuk-tuks by the Nyahururu-based Sagak enterprise has been undergoing tests and inspections for the last 6 months. They passed inspection standard and approval by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, allowing their use on public roads. This details emerged after a high-powered interagency virtual meeting co-chaired by the Principal Secretary the State of Department for Infrastructure, Paul Maringa, and Laikipia Governor Ndiritu Muriithi on to assess the progress of the vehicle. Now, the Laikipia Innovation and Enterprise Development Program has played a key role in guaranteeing the success of the project by bringing together government agencies together to focus on unlocking Kenya's automobile manufacturing industry. The Kenya Authority has announced a new revenue collection platform for Nairobi City County Government. KRA says Nairobi Revenue System, which is an initiative of the national government in collaboration with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services and the authority, is now operational. The platform aims at having an integrated single revenue collection system. Now, the taxman says this will enhance service delivery by having simple and easy to use system features and providing timely information to customers. The system is available for use by both new applications and renewals of services such as customer registration and account creation, payment of parking fees, market CESS, applications and renewals of trade license, as well as applications for food handlers, certificate for both individual and non-individuals. Now, a week-long Inua Biashara Summit for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises starts tomorrow. The summit, which will be hosted by Kenya Bankers Association, will set the stage for the industry to celebrate the resilience of businesses as the world readies for the International Day of MSMEs. The Inua Biashara Virtual Trade Show is an innovation platform that allows banks to showcase their offering to SMEs in a contactless manner, mindful of the current coronavirus pandemic. Kenya Bankers Association CEO Habe Lolaka says banks are working closely with the National Treasury and the Central Bank of Kenya through the National Credit Guarantee Scheme, which seeks to accelerate MSME access to credit during this disruptive pandemic period. The theme of the summit is celebrating SME resilience in turbulent times. Now, Nairobi has been ranked as the third most stressful city in Africa, according to a report by the Germany-based company VAAY. Now, Kenya's capital is third on the continent after Nigeria's Lagos and Cairo, and 80 out of a list of 100 countries globally. The top 100 cities for the survey were chosen by their size and global significance, as well as the availability and reliable and comparable data. Nairobi scored high in having lower levels of air and light pollution and having conducive weather condition. However, the city scored dismally in access to healthcare, noise pollution, political stability, safety and security. Similarly, Nairobi's rampant traffic snarl-ups gave it a below average score on traffic congestion. India's Mumbai was ranked as the most stressful city to live in. Now, the cities were analyzed on a variety of indicators ranging from governance to environment, finance and health. Let's now look at how the forex market is performing at this hour. Now, oil prices rose on Monday, underpinned by strong demand during the summer driving season and opposing talks to revive the Iran nuclear deal that could indicate a delay in resumption of supplies from the OPEC producer. Brent crude for the August gained 35 cents to $73.86 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude for July was at $72.05 a barrel, up 41 cents. Both benchmarks have risen for the past 4 weeks amid optimism over the pace of global vaccinations and a pickup in summer travel. Now, the rebound has pushed up spot premiums for crude in Asia and Europe to multi-month highs. Oil prices are also drawing support from forecasts for limited U.S. output growth. Now, a German trade union called on workers to 7 Amazon warehouses to go on strike for several days to coincide with a global Prime Day promotion. Verdi said it was organizing the 3-day strike as part of a long-running battle with the U.S. tech giant in Germany over better pay and working conditions. Germany is Amazon's biggest market after the United States, and the Verdi union has been organizing strikes at Amazon in the country since 2013 to protest low pay and poor conditions. According to Reuters, an Amazon spokesperson said the company offers excellent pay and benefits. It has said during past calls for strikes, over 90% of employees in the logistics centers worked as normal. Amazon holds Prime Day to boost summer sales. Now, turning to the coronavirus situation around the world, total confirmed cases are nearing 180 million, with at least 3.9 million deaths and more than 163.8 million recoveries. Brazil has now surpassed 500,000 COVID-19 deaths, with the country registering an average of 2,000 daily fatalities. With the spike in cases, Brazil is hoping to ward off infections with mass inoculations after launching a vaccination drive over the weekend. Now, health authorities also hope that the test can tell them whether large-scale immunization can reach non-immunized populations such as adolescents and children. Elsewhere, India's central government is calling on the public to continue observing anti-pandemic measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19 infections, even as some regions start to lift restrictions. India's COVID-19 tally rose to 29.88 million on Sunday, with 58,490 new cases recorded in the past 24 hours. Now, the country's death toll rose by 1,576, pushing total fatalities to 386,713. In Chinese mainland, one new case was confirmed on Sunday and 16 imported new cases, according to the National Health Commission. And finally, to the U.S., where the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases surpassed 33.5 million, with the death toll now above 600,000. Now, UN High Commissioner for Refugees Filippo Grandi says the looks forward to boosting global refugee resettlements after sharp declines caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, Grandi spoke as the global community observed World Refugee Day on Sunday, a day designated by the United Nations to honor and celebrate the resiliency of those fleeing war, famine, ecological devastation, and other life-threatening situations. Now, according to the Global Trends report from the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the number of refugees in the world has increased to a record 82.4 million in 2020. Now, World Refugee Day was held globally for the first time in June 20th, 2001, commemorating the 50th anniversary of the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees. It was originally known as Africa Refugee Day before the UN General Assembly officially designated it as an international day in December 2000.
In the key conflict zones, Western countries have been heavily involved, whether it is Afghanistan or Iraq or Syria, to take the three main sources here. These are three countries in which the Western powers, and above all the United States of America, followed by Britain, have been extremely involved, active. And so they have a major share of responsibility in this refugee crisis, you know, and yet they don't, they don't work by this. They don't acknowledge this responsibility, recognize the responsibility, and take refugees in.
Well, that's it for Metropol News at 1. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. From the rest of the team here at Metropol TV, have a wonderful afternoon.
Business doesn't wait. Why should you? Get updated with the latest business news on the go. It's simple. SMS the word news to 20146 and receive breaking news on the go. What are you waiting for? SMS news to 20146 now.
Hii area ya Kabiti iko na shida ya maji sana. Hata mvua wakati mwingine hainyeshi nyingi. Hiyo ndio sababu tunasema kama tunaweza pata tanks hata kumbwa ambazo tunaweza weka maji wakati mvua imenyesha, wakati ule mdogo inanyesha.
Leo ni siku kubwa sana. Leo ndio inaitwa National Jigas Awareness Day. Na siku ya leo tuko Murang'a, Maragwa, shule ambayo inaitwa Mihang'o Primary. Na tumekuja hapa na Lotto ambao wamekuwa mstari ya mbele katika kupigana na jigas. Hata ukiangalia nyuma yangu utaona ya kwamba Lotto wamefanya kazi nzuri sana ya kuleta hizi matanki za kuweka maji, wameleta sanitizer, hata wameleta bucket.
Asante sana Lotto. May God bless you.
Thank you for your help. Together, we are changing lives.
My name is Shiko Kimani. I am the proprietor for Paprigano Restaurant and Pub in Nakuru, Milimani. I started this restaurant in 2008. Paprigano, the name, is actually a combination of paprika and oregano. Paprigano. So those are the herbs we use when we are doing our barbecues. Smeka is, I would call it a system that allows you as an entrepreneur to load all your transactions. It helps you monitor your cash flows. You are actually able to pull out a profit and loss statement from the system. You can also pull out your LPOs from the system. The better part of it is the banks are able to access your daily routine, your inflows, your outflows, like that. And so when the banks do that, then they actually don't need so much documentation when you want a facility. You can actually just get a facility in 24 hours. Yes, so the bank can be able to see what you buy, what you don't buy. Okay, your stock is low. They can even call you and ask you, okay, we've seen your stock is low. Can we, come in and assist you? And you can also request for loans online. So I think it's a really good product, and once the entrepreneurs know about it, it would be very good, because even if you go to the bank, the bank for a facility, they always ask you for the documents. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have the documentation that I sold this today, I sold this in a month, what's your turnover, So yeah, it has been really helpful. I would recommend Smeka to any entrepreneur, because it actually organizes you. You're able to have your documents in place, you know your net worth, you're able to plan, you're able to budget, and that is what entrepreneurs need to become successful.
To register your business on Smeka platform, call 0715 830 690. Smeka, your highway to business financing and automation.
At Metropol TVKE across all your social media platforms. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Welcome to your official economic review this fresh week, Monday, your 21st. Now, aspirants seeking elective posts in the general elections could vie without being holders of a degree if a bill proposed by Senator Kipchumba Murkomen is passed. In the proposed Elections Amendment Act of 2021, Senator Murkomen wants the requirement for aspirants to have a degree replaced with, and I quote, able to read and write in English or Kiswahili language and literate in Kenyan Sign Language in the case of those with hearing impairment. According to Murkomen, the requirement of a degree for an elective post is discriminative against people who do not hold such qualifications. His proposal coming just days after IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati announced the law requiring aspirants for the 6 elective positions to be degree holders will take effect next year. Implementation of the amendment section 22 of the Election Act was postponed in the 2017 elections to allow candidates seeking to run for parliamentary and MCA positions to acquire the required academic qualifications. All right, just before we get into that, let me introduce the panel that we have for you this morning. We are joined in the studio by Philip Mangale, a leadership and governance consultant. Philip, how are you doing, sir?
I'm okay.
Happy to have you around. All right, let's cross over online. We are joined by Arnold Nkasale, who is a microfinance banker and economic analyst. Arnold, good morning, sir.
Morning, good morning to you.
Happy to have you around. Lastly, we're joined by Gabriel Mwendwa, who is the investment associate of Horizon Africa Capital. Good morning, Gabriel.
Good morning, Zimba. Pleasure to have you here.
Let's cross over into the studio then and talk about that. Philip, that you don't need a degree. And this is just coming, what? A year to the general election is when they realized, we need to amend that. But when it was proposed, a lot of them were okay with it. They said, yeah, let's give them 5 years to go back to school, study, so that anybody wanting to go for that elective post would then say, well, I'm now qualified. But they realized that it's just 1 year and some of them will not have those degrees now. So all of a sudden, take it out.
First, thank you for having me. The amendment or the proposed amendment by Senator Murkomen is ill-informed. In this age and time where we are talking about a country, Kenya is ranked top in terms of academic outcomes or education outcomes across the continent. Yes. In such a time, we should not be talking about the very basic education standard being the qualification for leadership in this country. Yes. The Election Act 2012, the original act before it was amended, provided that for you to qualify for election as an MCA or a member of parliament, you only had to have post-secondary school education. And thereafter it was amended to what we have right now, where you must have a university degree. Yes. Now, this points us to one thing: how seriously we take the task of leadership. I've had arguments over the last 2 weeks of people saying, you know, there are those who are illiterate, those who have not gone to school, and yet they can be very good leaders. But in an age and time where we are moving, where the world is, you know, the world is advancing. We are now almost 22 years after free primary education. We are now almost 10 years after we enacted the Basic Education Act, which, and our basic education is high school education. Yeah. So to require that those who are to leaders, to require that those who are to oversight, you know, the executive, for example, those who are to oversight county governments should have, you know, university education is really not something that we should be arguing about. And number two, one of the things that is very important actually to note here is that a degree holder, there is a presumption that a degree holder has acquired the content of a university education. And I've been the proponent of the fact that we need to have a difference between schooling and education, because we have a group of people in this country who are well schooled but not well educated. So the argument that you'd have people who have not gone to school being very good leaders, and people who have actually gone through school, and that for me is the distinction, that we have people who have gone through school, people who have gone through university and acquired a certificate, yet do not have the contents of the education that they should have acquired there. I've also had people argue that you know, the people who are robbing this country, stealing us dry or looting this country dry are educated people. And that is a moot discussion for me, because we would rather have people who have an advancement in cognitive ability and then judge them from that level, rather than have people who have no understanding. And yes, we have exceptions of individuals who, you know, who are just have good intellect. Yes. But then to expose these people to very dire matters, matters such as budgeting, matters such as legislation, we need to have people who have been exposed to knowledge, and knowledge that is sufficient for them to engage in matters of leadership at that level, at the level of the county assembly and at the level of parliament. So for me, we should not be having this discussion. Those who are advancing the amendment, I've had the Deputy President also make some of those sentiments. It's a populist argument. Yes. Deep down, they know what we really need, but because they want to appeal to a large number of the population, because I think we have less than 2.5 million degree holders in this country, which is a discussion we should be having. Why are we not having people advancing to those levels, yes, even after we have made such advancements in education?
Pretty much. And I'm going to ask you this just before we cross over to the next issue that we have this morning, and bring in Gabriel and Arnold as well to weigh in on that. I mean, when you look at the timeliness of this specific amendment that they actually want to push into Section 22, what is it? What do you read into that, Philip?
I mean, we have individuals who are already serving in
Yes.
the current parliament and
Yes.
in our county assemblies who have not met that qualification. So one, there are those who want to maintain job security, so that when they are vying in 2022,
Yes.
you know, they just meet the very basic,
Yes.
and that